Hey everyone, this is Pat Mesiti here, and I told you this that we would be, promoting and speaking with some great leaders, good people of good values, good character, good content. And to me, right now, I think we need to do everything we need to do as a country, and particularly in the states that are coming up with elections, particularly here in Queensland. And one outstanding couple is Paul and Tracey Hansel, and they are part of candidates for One Nation in the Scenic Rim of Queensland. A wonderful couple out there fighting for our freedoms and fighting this Labor regime that we're under right now. So, Paul and Tracey, welcome to Live at 5. You're among friends here.
Excellent, Pat. So
welcome.
Thank you for having us, Pat. It's just such an honour.
Yeah. Now, look. Before we'll get to Paul in a second, but you actually worked there, Tracey, with Pauline Hanson. Hasn't a lot of things that Pauline said come to pass these days?
Yeah.
I was hoping, like, if you go back to '98 when she made her maiden speech, Pat, a lot of people call in and say everything Pauline said has come true. And I honestly believe, Pat, if you don't mind me saying, I look at her, I think God's called her. She's like Esther to me. Everything she has said, God's used her in all this time, in the lows and the highs, and I firmly believe that.
Well, she certainly polarizes, but you know what? Truth does that, and truth does that. And of course, Paul, you're out there, been involved in your own business.
Yes, that's right.
And so you're out there, you're working, running a business, and helping us. Tell us what's at stake right now.
Okay.
In the upcoming election, Paul.
All right. So morally, we have a lot at stake here in the state election in regard to the abortion laws that were passed by Jackie Trad in 2017. So, and those abortion laws have how can I say, rough, is that it's so hard. They go right up to full-term abortion. So wow. That's how evil it's become now. I mean, all abortion I'm dead against, but that's how far in darkness they've gone. So we've got that. We've also got the Safe Schools that is in operation. It's in, they say it's only in Labor seats, like Labor governments, but it's also in New South Wales Liberal. And the also the changing of kids' sexuality, their identity. So we are fighting to push that back as well.
You know, it's almost like an attack on innocence. And I said the other day, I think you actually shared the post that I shared about the attack on children, where you look at paedophilia, and I don't want to mention names or all that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on out there that people are doing. But it's almost like governments, particularly the socialist left, are turning a blind eye to this sort of stuff. That's right. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. Like, I'll, if you don't mind me speaking, when you've worked in a background, Pat, and like when we're in Thailand and Cambodia working with Rescue Rescue, when you can see that as accepted normally in society, you know we're in serious trouble. But what people don't realise, when it's happening in Australia, like I said before, we worked with the federal police as well, you got stuff, but when you have the government making this a law and lowering the consent, and that, you know, we're in the days of darkness and just pure evil and demonic.
Well, it seems to me, look, you're an outstanding couple and you're great parents, great heart, worked in charities, worked with children, worked with the underprivileged. I get tired of the rhetoric from our political leaders, and I just said on a program the other day, if you've got nothing to hide, you hide nothing. That's right. But, you know, you guys are business people, you're out there. How much has this COVID cover-up hurt you guys as a business, and you know, with all these border closures, you know, how do you feel about that?
Quite a lot. Our business took a hit with Paul, and it's just, as you know, there's a COVID plan, and going back to churches, like you look at the businesses here and have a look at what businesses are open in Queensland and aren't. But what amazes me, Pat, and you will know this from our church plan, like yesterday we're out and about at Tambourine for Marcus, that there's a COVID plan. What people don't realise, and just like our footballers came in from Melbourne and you've got your superstars coming in, what people don't realise, there's a separate COVID plan for the industry, and that includes brothels. So, you know, I laugh when people say, oh, we've got to stick to the COVID plan in business, and I always challenge them and say, which COVID plan are you under? And what I'm saying, government's operating in deception.
What do you think of this rhetoric by Dr. Death? I call her Dr. Death. How on earth you can tell me you want to save lives, and then she's worried about death threats, which I don't think that's nice at all. But she's been threatening us with death for the last 6 months.
Right.
What do you think, Paul? What do you think, Tracey, about this whole moral agenda, where they said, well, the reason we left AFL, and I'm not against Tom Hanks, I'm leaving that against the AFL, because they bring in more money. Yet they've not released the figures, which actually going to cost the state money.
That's exactly
That's right.
Why do you think the Labor Party of Palaszczuk and Dr. Death and Stephen Miles, the guy isn't fit to polish the shoes of Scott Morrison.
That's terrible.
Why do you think they cover up so much, Paul? Why do you think? What do you think?
I think what's the agenda I see here is a vote.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's a fear factor. They're pushing through to get the vote. See what's happened here on this, Pat, is that go back further. Jackie Trad has ruined Palaszczuk's life. Okay, with all the corruptions and the laws that's come against her, and that she's been hit with, the things with the Cross River where her house was and all that her husband bought, and she never knew. So she had to go before the ACCC and all that. So the thing is that was part of it, and that has really pulled her down. Their hopes of even getting back in was that. So they are relying now on fear campaign towards the people that you are all going to die if we don't follow our rules and regulations. So look, I talk to people all the time who are very die-hard, rusted on One Nation voters. They all love Pauline. However, they all say, oh, but isn't it good that Anne is saving our life?
I know. She's not saved any lives. We've done it ourselves.
That's right.
So what do we say? What do you say? You guys are there. You're in the coalface, scenic rim of Queensland, a lot of elderly people there. What do you say when people say that? What's the retort? What's the response?
What I say, and what we both do, like I say, and we always, and Pauline put this forward, Senator Malcolm Roberts, to protect the vulnerable and protect the elderly. That's why I lock them up. We still have to keep our economy going. We still have to keep our businesses open. And common sense, like you said, Pat, we've protected ourselves. It's our common sense that has brought this through. Right. And just like what really upsets me is that lady that was pregnant with the twins, and she got turned away at the border and the baby died. So if you're all about saving lives, surely you would put that woman first.
That's the comeback you have.
Yeah, but that doesn't fit babies' lives because it's a baby, right?
That's right.
That's the sad part.
And then they turn around and say, well, no, New South Wales is hospitals up in New South Wales, Queensland hospitals and that. I can tell you, Pat, a personal experience this year. I was on the waiting list for an operation with the public system, and Pauline had to step in and ring Stephen Miles. But my point is, those hospitals aren't even saving Queenslanders because of these COVID rules.
But when did Medicare stop at a border boundary? It's a national levy that we all pay. 55%. I'm sorry, but I think 60% of the hospitals in this state are paid by the rest of the country.
That's right.
And I laugh, Pat. I always put a little bit of a joke on the end because I just think you've got to bring people back a little bit. What happens on our grand final day of the AFL when one of those players get hurt? Are they going to take that person back to a New South Wales hospital or Queensland hospital?
Well, he shouldn't be allowed in the Queensland one if he's from Melbourne.
That's right. So here's
So guys,
agenda.
let me ask you, because I want to get behind good people, and I've got some people in the Liberal Party and people in the One Nation. Now, you got to help me get Pauline on the program.
Oh,
absolutely.
That'll she's just up north now. She's on her way.
I'll follow her. I need to get on the plane. I've been locked in too long.
No, we're working on that, and so we'll come back with those.
What do you need? What do you guys need right now? What help do you need? Do you need people to turn up on voting day? What do you need? Do you need volunteers? What do you need? What does Pauline need? What do you guys need as people?
We have amazing candidates. We've got 65 incredible candidates across Queensland. And I want people to know that we have candidates that are ex-policemen, ex-military. We've got a beautiful candidate, a lawyer down at Burleigh Beach. Everyone is a professional standard. I want people to come up, ring or go on the webpage of One Nation and have a look and meet their candidate. All of them are out in the open to go and meet people. And I can tell you, Pat, now, if we do not work together, the Conservative side here in Queensland, and push this communist evil government out, that our days are numbered here in Queensland. They will take us like we are, what's happening in Victoria.
Do you think this election in Queensland, I'm praying and believing that we can get rid of this social...
We can.
You can, we must.
Just
And you guys know me for years. You've never ever seen me jump up and down on a political bandwagon like this one. But I feel like as you said, Esther, you know, I've been attacked and pretty mean stuff said, you know, even by some pastors who just, I don't understand it. But anyway, I felt that when Esther chapter 4, and she says, if you don't speak now, you know, deliverance will come from another side, but you and your nation will perish. And whilst I'm not proponing that the nation's going to die, but let me tell you, we are experiencing a slow death right now. Right. And so, Paul, Tracey, what do you guys need? Manpower? What do you need? What are the candidates? Good candidates, by the way. And I want people to put, by the way, if any of you start putting negative stuff about Pauline or any of my guests, I'll block you, delete you. I won't tolerate it. It's my platform. You want to go be an idiot, go be an idiot on someone else's platform.
That's right. What we need, Pat, is volunteers to help out. I mean, you know, to be honest with you, Pat, I would like a lot of the church to get behind us here.
Yeah,
we're talking about, it's not about liberal, Labor, and that. We're talking about righteousness, truth, and justice.
Yeah, good and bad, good and evil, correct.
Okay, you know, there's a scripture there that the enemy comes in like a flood. We are the standard that raises up against it. You know, now if we are to keep that scepter out, the scepter of the evil, that shall not remain in the land allotted to the righteous. If people know and the church know the scripture, that they need to work with us on that. You know, but they all say, oh, you know, we have a Christian prime minister now, we can sit and relax.
He can't even get into the state.
that's what I'm saying. And this is the greatest feedback that I'm getting from people, is that we have a Christian prime minister now, it's all good.
No, it's
not. The other main thing is the reason why a lot of Christians don't get behind me in this is because, and with the COVID thing, Christians don't talk about the COVID, is because they say you're dishonouring the government, because it says that in scripture.
No,
that is the number one thing that I get from people.
No, it does not. It does not say that. They've got a wrong interpretation of Romans.
Correct.
And it is a wrong interpretation of Romans, because understand this, if that is the case, then the early church should have shut their mouths when the emperors of Rome said, see, the Romans didn't care if you had 100 gods, they just didn't want you to have one.
That's right.
And they disobeyed that law. And this is not a law of, this is based in deception and lie. Was there COVID? Of course there was, but they were never on it. The modeling was wrong. The stats were wrong. It was based in lies. And this is it. If you've got, this is not a Christian show, but let me just go there. You've got to balance scripture with scripture.
That's right.
You can't just take one verse and say you're dishonouring government. Hey, you've got to step. Truth supersedes that.
That's right.
You know, I'm not running for politics here, but truth supersedes. No. I've got too many ghosts in my car.
Well, I say to them, Pat, you know, look, at the end of the day, I say to them, so that means in communist China, okay, we've got a communist operating government here through the state government and like down with Daniel Andrews. So I say to them, so if you go over to communist China and all the churches, the Christians who are underground, millions of them, you do know they are, if you're interpreting this, you do know they're breaking the law.
Correct.
They don't know how to answer that.
Correct. No, they don't.
That means they shouldn't be operating there.
Look, guys, we have been given the freedom to be able to vote. So we need manpower. We need people to get behind good, solid candidates. Correct. You know, and I know a lot of people here. Look, I'm going to be having different people of different persuasions. Certainly, we haven't had anyone in the Labor Party. By the way, I'm more than happy for Palaszczuk to come on my show, and Stephen Miles. I would really say, and Dr. Death. I would love that. You know, I'd love the three of them on. I think we could do a good job and handling all three. But I just want to say about you guys, you've got my support.
Thank you.
You've got my endorsement. And whether you are a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're Jewish, whether just good people of good, we need to get values back. This is not about getting Christians in and whatever. I don't care if you're a Muslim and you've got good values. It doesn't bother me. because what's happening now is the good. I read this. For evil to spread, all good men need to do is do nothing.
That's right.
That's right.
And Paul and Tracey, you're good people, and I believe Pauline is a good person, in spite of what the fake news media want to portray her as.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming on the program. How can people get a hold of you? Is there an email? Is there a Facebook?
Yes,
what can we do?
You can hop on the One Nation webpage and just type in Paul's name and that. You can go on Facebook, or you can ring Paul direct. His number's 0406 083 867.
I'm wondering if it's a good idea to put your phone number on there.
We've got thick skin.
That's okay.
We're here for the people, Pat.
Well, thank you for that, guys. Thank you.
My
for
political page is Paul Henson Scenic Rim.
Yep.
Pauline Henson's One Nation.
Yep.
So if they type that in, Scenic Rim, SCENICRIM.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for being on there. I know you're busy. You got a business. You got a family. You're helping Pauline. You're out there on the road. What a blessing. Great to see. Hey, we're getting younger every year.
Yeah, we are, Pat. Pat, you still look 40.
I wish.
Thanks for having me on.
Pat,
Really appreciate that.
Oh, blessing. Thank you.
Can I just ask everyone to vote with their conscience? Now, we're in the fight of our life for our state. And I always say you can't, there's nobody like the Queensland Spirit. Look at State of Origin. I am begging people to really stand up, do the research, and do an informative vote.
God bless you guys. Thanks so much for being live at
Thank
5. And let's spread this out. Share as many as you can, guys. You've got our support. God bless you.
Thank you. Thanks, Pat. Bye.
Bye.